but this is a very special group of people. So happy Black History Month, happy Black History Year, and happy Black History Century.
There is something about the way he says the word black that it sends like a shiver down my spine every time I hear it. I don't like it, and I want him to stop. But unfortunately, he didn't. There was more from the event, and it got to some really weird places. Take a look.
Mike Tyson, boy, I tell you, Mike has been loyal to me. Whenever they come out, they say, Trump's a racist. You know, it's like a statement. Trump's a racist. Mike Tyson goes, he's not a racist. He's my friend. He's been there from the beginning. Good times and bad. Jim Brown. He was tough. He'd come in. He was very silent. He was silent but deadly. He'd come in and he'd look at people, and if he didn't like them, he'd just look at me and he'd go, no good. He wanted to rip their heart out. I would say there can't be a greater football player than Jim Brown. By the way, Lawrence Taylor, great friend. Everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing. The Buffalo Soldiers. Do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? Good stuff, right? And Herschel Walker, speaking about loyal, how good a football player was Herschel? Herschel Walker, now he's ambassador to the Bahamas. I don't know, Bahamas, Bermuda, is he Bahamas, whatever. It's a nice place.
Yeah, this is supposed to be you reassuring people that you can tell black people apart, and you can't even tell the countries apart. Like, whatever, he's there, it's an island, I don't know, whatever it is, who cares? And I'm glad that he eventually remembered that there are black people in the world who are not professional athletes, and he eventually got onto some soldiers and stuff like that, because at first it seemed like that was the only road he seemed comfortable going down. Entire thing, super weird. He was very defensive about the accusations that he's been racist. You know, those ancient accusations. There's nothing recent that has led people to believe that he might be racist. Like, I don't know, if he'd like posted a video where randomly they'd spliced frames of the Obamas being gorillas and monkeys onto the end. And then when people pointed out that that was racist, he'd be like, no, it wasn't. I didn't do anything wrong and I don't care. Literally in Black History Month, he did that. But anyway, it's a weird administration. And he was surrounded by some weird people. So Ben Carson came out. Trump said that he would soon get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Why not? Just give it to everybody, I guess, at this point. He said that Trump has not received enough credit for economic policies like opportunity zones that benefited black Americans. It is entirely possible that these opportunity zones did. I would say generally, it doesn't seem like he's getting very high marks from black Americans on his economic policies. Ben Carson might want to, I don't know, look at a poll or talk to a person or whatever. By the way, I just want to jump ahead. In that speech, he was bragging about the support he got from black voters in 2024, which I believe was higher than he had previously gotten. I just want to remind everyone, he is at 11% approval amongst black Americans right now. I feel like that would be worth noting during all of this. 84% disapprove. It seems pretty clear they're not buying what he's selling, but Tehran, what do you think?
Well, I think it's really nice for President Trump to go through all his black friends to show you he's not racist. He went to Mike Tyson. He's his first black friend. If you don't know the history there, President Trump at that time, just real estate slumlord Donald Trump stood up for Mike Tyson during his infamous case in the 90s, and they've been friends ever since. Also, it's reported that Trump won a lot of money on on Tyson fights. So that happened as well. And then he went to Jim Brown, who he basically akin to a fart. This guy's silent but deadly. That was a thing. Like passing wind and Jim Brown are basically the same thing. Much respect to Jim Brown, of course, rest in peace. Then we went to Herschel Walker, and then you kindly noted, couldn't even tell the difference between one black island versus another black island and things of this nature. Possibly some soldiers. Everyone he loves as a black friend is basically dead. I don't know where Trump really stands on, but I'm glad that he thinks that black America is a special group of people. He also feels the same way about special people. I don't really know what to take on this. It actually sounded more racist than if he was just racist.
I mean, it's like, are we supposed to pretend that like there's a debate to be had, that conservatives who say that he's not racist actually mean it? Like that they've thought about it, they considered it, and they came to the conclusion that he's not racist. No, they just say it. They know that he's racist. They like that he's a racist. That's one of the main things that they like about it. I just want to remind everyone, not only has he called a number of countries where black people live S-hole countries, I do just want to remind everyone, we're like 6 months into him routinely bringing up unprompted how Somalia sucks and Somalis are garbage. Like all the people, everyone from that country is garbage, and he uses that term. They're trash that should not be allowed into our country. But these libs with their accusations of racism or whatever. He's only smearing an entire goddamn national origin. Man, woman, child, grandma, all of them. But he does know Herschel Walker, so I guess it balances out. Anyway, let's jump to one other sort of endorsement that he got. Donald Trump was talking at his Black History Month kickoff event about Nicki Minaj, who's recently been very vocal of her support for him. And here is how he decided to speak about her.
From jazz to the blues, that you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap, black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. How about Nicki Minaj? Do we love Nicki Minaj? Right? I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that. But she was so beautiful and so great. And she gets it, more importantly, frankly, she gets it.
She gets it. He means she's on board. So she's acceptable. She's on board, so we'll be nice to her, I guess. I mean, I'm going to talk about her like she's some strange doll I came across in an antique store or something. I'm not going to talk about her like she's a human. She's just this weird specimen where I'm looking at her skin and then I'm looking at her nails and I'm sort of dissecting it in a weird way. But she's acceptable. Oh, we love Nicki, don't we? We love Nicki. Yeah? Name one of her songs. Not just you, Trump. Literally any one of the people in the room right there. Name one of her songs. And by the way, I can't either, but I'm not claiming that I love her or whatever. Don't pretend that you cared about her before she started talking favorably about you. And don't pretend that if she were to waver a little bit and maybe she was into a Democrat or something, that you wouldn't immediately throw her under the bus. Don't pretend that you care about her as a person, as an individual, as a member of the black community, whatever. You like her temporarily, so long as she signs up with your cult, and that's it.
You know what TYT has always been about? Taking on the corrupt, greedy establishment. For us, it's the corporate media. We've been fighting that fight for over 20 years. For the cell phone industry, it's the same story. A handful of massive corporations ripping you off. That's why we're partnering with Noble Mobile. They're the only wireless company with the same mission as ours, to fight back. Their Noble plan offers unlimited data for just $50 a month. But here's the best part. For any data that you don't use, you get cash back. Real money you can spend however you want. Stop letting your unused data pad the pockets of billionaires. With Noble, you take control over your data. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest.
Tehran, what do you think?
Well, I do think that Nicki Minaj being on board has a lot to do with Trump's favoritism, but I would see that Trump could be a Nicki Minaj fan before based on her outfits and her demeanor, but not his fan base. I don't think that they've actually watched anything. They've never listened to Bang Bang or Anaconda or watched those videos, because if they did, then maybe they wouldn't align with what they're calling their Christian right-wing conservative values. This is not the Nicki Minaj. The Nicki Minaj that they like is the one that is basically doing her part in the Trump bidding, basically playing that part. That's a lot of things that he likes it when you're on board. Never mind that unemployment in the black community has exceeded 7%. Never mind the claims of him not being racist. Maybe he's not racist. Maybe he's just placist. Maybe he just needs everyone to know their place. And that place is under his thumb. And when you're under his thumb or in his cult, then you are one of the acceptable ones. We had a term for this, and especially since Black History Month, it's the house. And everyone else, if you don't know what I'm going to say with the next word, just look in the comments.
I am not familiar with that term. That's what I would just say for the record. Anyway.
And you don't need to be. You don't need to be. The right people are, and they understood there's a house and there's a field. And these are a lot of the people in the house, and they're always like, yes, massa, we sick. And that's what's happening right now because they're all sick.
By the way, are artists just supposed to shut up and play music, or are they supposed to endorse politicians? Or is it that you don't actually have a principle and it's just case by case? Taylor Swift says that women should have autonomy over their body and she should shut up and just sing. Nicki Minaj says, I like Trump, and you're like, oh, she's the best person in the country. Is it that you don't have any principles? I'm pretty sure that that's actually